It's all the serious stuff,
but with a light-hearted twist.
I'm Sandra Ezekwesili.
And I'm Aghogho.
Join us 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. every weekday.
Right here.
On Hard Facts. On Hard Facts.
Hello, Lagos. Good afternoon. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts.
Shark! Kumaku! Now, I see the impact is more because you see now we're on the same level. You know what I'm saying? Sandra?
Yeah, we've got new mics in the studio.
Yeah.
And they did not take into account that Sandra is a short woman. So I'm having to adjust and readjust.
You mean adjust your height or adjust the...
Adjust the mic now.
Okay.
My height's not finished. You know they come again. So we're trying to make this work.
Yeah.
How are you, Aghogho? How's your weekend?
Sebon, I'm great. Sandra finally made it to the studio.
I finally did. My goodness.
After 72 hours in traffic.
Ha! My weekend was dramatic. So I hosted an event on Saturday. The Initiative for Equal Rights Tiers. They had their annual symposium, and I was the host. And so it was a symposium in the morning and an award gala at night, right? And then the gala started late because of the crazy traffic on Saturday. Were you caught in that traffic, Aghogho?
No. You think it doesn't have anything to do with the event, tears, like teary eyes?
No, I assure you. I assure you. So anyway, we were partying at the gala. Around midnight, somebody stole my phone while I was dancing Zanku. Yes, you didn't notice I have a new phone now. Can you imagine? During our national dance, no respect, someone just stole it. And I had to buy a new phone yesterday.
Wow.
I buy phone.
Good.
I carry go telco.
Good.
Say, oh yeah, give me my SIM. We don't lost. Telco say, do you have your SIM pack? I say, which SIM pack? I don't know where I threw that one away. I've had this phone for. I haven't lost the phone since 2007, so I haven't needed to get a new SIM pack. So they're like, okay, do you have ID? I say, yeah, I have my driver's license. They're like, okay, you go need to go and swear affidavit in court.
Very true.
I said, what?
Yeah.
I mean, you have my face on your system. You have my fingerprints on your system.
Yes.
Because I did SIM card registration.
Yes.
And you're telling me to go and get a document that can be forged to present it as proof that I am Sandra Ezekwesili. My fingerprint that cannot be forged is not enough for you. But documents that they can put together. Anyway, I went today to the High Court, close to you at Lagos Island.
Good.
Right? And it was in a very little shop that they typed the document for me.
Yeah.
And then the lady was like, no, even if you don't have ID, sir, you can just type and say that you have. Right?
True.
And then you can give it to them. I didn't swear in front of a judge.
No,
right? They just took it in for me and stamped it.
Yes.
How does that prove that I am Sandra Ezekwesili better than my fingerprint?
Those guys don't have the fingerprint readable machine that will say.
Yes, they do.
Are you sure?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
They do. That's what they took my registration on. They took my picture on it and I placed my fingers in it.
Captured, but they couldn't tell if it was really your fingerprint.
I don't know, man.
I say they take you to Alagbon next time so that we can identify whether it's actually your fingerprint.
It's crazy. It made me wonder, when these rules are being made, is anybody thinking about how they will be applied when they're asking for you to go and get your court documents? Throughout the show, by the way, anytime you call, tell me if you had a similar experience retrieving your line.
Get a police report.
Why would I? What?
You're fortunate. Back in the days, you get the police report also too, together with that.
What?
That your phone was stolen not by you, but by someone else.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully, there's no red tape here on Hard Facts. I go straight to the point. We bring you the best insights into today's most important topics. We bring them to you, break them down, give you the facts, and you can form an informed opinion. And any show you miss, you can catch online on our Facebook page, on our Twitter, on our YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. We've got a great show for you today. We're starting with the big three. Lagos State accepting bids for Fourth Mainland Bridge. People doing Owambe and events with more than 50 attendees must alert LASMA. And High Court orders Bayelsa to return Soku oil wells to rivers. What's on Checkpoint, Aghogho?
Right, on Checkpoint. So we're closing in on the holiday season, and just as people are moving into town, others are moving out of town. So we're going to be looking at security and safety during the holiday season, what to look at. We're comparing notes with one another and seeing things that sort of happen regularly and how we can forestall that unfortunate event from happening during the holiday season. So that's going to be on checkpoint. And we'll move on to the big hard fact.
Yes, the big hard fact is where we have started winding down on hard facts. So we're going to be looking at the year in review. And this today we'll start off with the economy. It's a series we'll do until the year ends. And we'll look at the big stories of the year that have to do with the economy. After the 6 p.m. news, we'll hand you over to Rufai for conversations with Rufai. As usual throughout the show, we're bringing you the latest updates from the world of news, sports and entertainment. But let's get started with the big three.
This is the Big Three.
The Big Three on Hard Facts.
On 99.3 Nigeria Info.
You know what to expect on the big three stories that everyone is talking about right now. Do you believe events and parties are a traffic problem? Fourth Mainland Bridge or light rail? Which one would you rather? And should River State be compensated for lost revenue? Don't forget that when you call me, I want to hear your own experience with retrieving your line whenever you have to change SIMs or if you've had to sign affidavits. Fourth Mainland Bridge is loading. The Lagos State government will announce the process for selecting a contractor and ruling out the project on Wednesday. Wednesday is also the last day for expression of interest for contractors who want to build the bridge. While announcing this, the State Commissioner for Information, Gbenga Omotosho, also said the government is partnering with Access Bank to upgrade the road network in Oniru. Transportation was the first part of Governor Sanwo-Olu's six-part themes campaign agenda, and he promised to reduce traffic congestion in and around the Lagos metropolis. 4 MB at last, Aghogho, eh?
I don't know whether to say at last because I'm looking at the date line for this story and seeing
And it doesn't look good, eh?
whether it was 6 years ago this story ran, because this has run before. And we know what happened at the end of the day. It just ended with the ceremony, and then we're still back from where it started. But I'm sure a number of people together with that statement will also be looking at the blue rail line. Well, this perhaps will set in tone what this administration will be remembered for in terms of infrastructure. I mean, if it, in the opinion of many people, hasn't done very well, taking off with the rehabilitation of the bad segments of roads and the mainland on the island, if it gets this right, maybe people will forget about the bad streets that they have to deal with, and people like Sandra who get stuck on the Lekki-Ekpe Expressway.
Don't remind me.
Every time.
Saturday we were in traffic until 4 a.m.
May think of using the Fourth Mainland Bridge to escape the Wahala, which is only the main road, interestingly, to get you out of that axis in town. People have long complained about the nature of route there. If you get caught up in the traffic there, you'd be dragged there for several hours, no way to escape. Forget about the alternative route, doesn't work during those sort of times. So I think we do the break and then we come back.
Yes, indeed. And then we'll talk about the kind of traffic that this Fourth Mainland Bridge is supposed to handle. You're listening to Hard Facts. You can get online on Facebook and share your thoughts with us on any of our three stories.
Stay right here on the Big Three on 99.3 Nigeria Info. This is the Big Three
The Big Three on Hard Facts.
on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
On the Big Three today, we told you that if you're going to party in Lagos, you're going to need to make sure that LASMA is aware. And the Lagos state government is accepting bids for Fourth Mainland Bridge. I'm sure a lot of Lagosians are excited about that particular news because all the linkages between the island and mainland are such saturated during rush hour. Clearly something has to be done. And with a city like Lagos that is crisscrossed by water, there really needs to be a lot of bridges. But like I said before the break, the Fourth Mainland Bridge is only going to handle the island to mainland traffic. There's still serious traffic problems both within the island and within the mainland. In Lekki, for example, there's only one major road, Lekki Expressway. In the newsroom before the show, my colleagues and I were talking about how if anything were to happen and we are on the Lekki where you're stuck there, and the more Lagos grows, the worse traffic is going to get. Unless we build other trunk roads to take the traffic in and out. And the government said that it wants to remove people who built on the rights of way of new expressways in Lekki. And I'm guessing we're going to see how that goes.
Exactly, and they will have to do it very quickly because I was joking in fact that this proposal has been on since when you had Bola Ahmed Tinubu as governor of Lagos State as far back as 1999. And up till now, we still haven't seen anything there. Even the amount which had been proposed for this Fourth Mainland Bridge will have to be revised. What was considered huge then, nearly ₦1 trillion. Maybe by now it's double what they're supposed to spend on that bridge. So plenty to think about. And together also talked about the fact that a big city like Lagos, and we just have piecemeal roads infrastructure to deal with the huge number of people. The Blue Railway line they mentioned,
right,
also the light railway, which runs Lagos Badagry Expressway towards Marina. They said December 2020. This is the 2015 cut-off date that hasn't happened up till now. That if we wait December 2020, that happens. Maybe we can say yes that they have, but definitely a lot of work to do with that bridge, because if my mind goes back to several years, I haven't seen any major infrastructure development in Lagos, especially with roads. New roads in town haven't happened. And with right of way, the same problem they have with Lagos Badagry Expressway. So you clear up the right of way, but don't finish the road on time. Those guys are going to come back and they give job to the tax force people who go around removing people, or if the people who've moved to the side of the road to do business take opportunity of the fact that nothing has happened in those dedicated lanes for BRT. BRT haven't happened in those lanes that they cleared for right of way running 5, 6, 7 years. They haven't seen it happen yet. The buses haven't arrived yet. The same thing could happen here. People will take over those spaces again, or they put dirty like it's happened in several parts of town.
And
too.
remember that when Fashola was governor, he said that the light rail needed to be a higher priority than the Fourth Mainland Bridge, because the traffic situations in the areas it covers are worse and affect more people every day. So it's going to be interesting to see whether Governor Sanwo-Olu, by choosing 4MB over light rail, disagrees with Fashola. I wonder whether the traffic consultants that the state hired earlier in the year, remember those ones, were the ones who recommended this.
Yes. I mean, several people have moved towards the Lekki Expressway, heading towards Ogun State on that axis. And the same expressway is one that's been there since the 70s and 80s. All they just did was just expand it a little bit and then extended the length of the road. But in real sense, there's been no real development in Lekki Expressway like bridge or Fourth Mainland Bridge will make a huge difference rather than...
Me and Sha don't want to be in traffic anymore. Do you think a Fourth Mainland Bridge is a good idea? Where should it be located? Do you trust that the government is going to be able to implement it? Or do you fear that it should be like the light rail and it will stall like the light rail? And speaking of light rail, do you believe it should be a priority, or do you accept 4MB as the priority? If you were governor and you only had enough money in your term to complete the light rail or build the Fourth Mainland Bridge, which would you choose? 01277 0993, 01277 1993, 012772993 and 012773993. Let's quickly tell you our second story. And when you call, you can comment on both since they're both from Lagos. If you are planning an Owambe in Lagos, you had better go and tell LASMA. The Commissioner for Transportation, Frederick Oladeyinde, has told Lagosians that anyone that is planning an event or private party where more than 50 guests were expected should inform LASMA so that proper steps are taken for parking. Oladeyinde blamed poor parking by the guests at numerous events in Lekki for the traffic that crippled the area on Saturday. He apologized to affected citizens and said that roads were blocked because places of worship, event centers, private parties did not have enough parking for their guests, who then blocked the roads. Oladeyinde warned that going forward, the government will enforce the laws relating to event centers and other public establishments. And he said that the state will shut down any place of worship, event center, or nightclub whose guests block the road. When I invited us to block your road, Aghogho.
I'm trying to laugh that you've watched a Thriller, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know that laugh at the end. I'm going to audition Sandra for one of those movies. That's what I was about to laugh, but I couldn't get because I've got a frog
You're
on my
welcome.
throat. Well, because
but maybe pause. Let's talk to Shola and then you spit out the frog in your throat. Hello, Shola.
Hello?
Yes, when are you inviting me to block your road, Shola?
I can't invite you to come and block my road now.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Oh boy.
I disagree with the governor with the Fort Milan Bridge that they have proposed. Because if you look at Badagry Expressway, started since 2008, and they have never been even cut out to where they are to the destination till now, almost 10 years ago. Then the same thing at Aghogho Expressway from Tollgate to Oshodi. The problem we are having is how to manage the road that we have to make them be motorable to us. Because the Fort Milan Bridge, they proposed, I think it's going to work for only people living in Aja and Padore or whatever. And before you can approach that bridge, you have to go through all the stress in VGC and what is called it. So what happened to me there this afternoon, when the truck fell down, I think it's around the Jaconde, after Jaconde.
Yes, around the Boyford.
Yeah, we are in that traffic almost 2 hours this afternoon. So if you want to make use of the Fort Milan Bridge, how are you going to get to the Fort Milan Bridge? If you are working in VI or you live in Ikorodu.
Good question, Shola. Thanks for calling. Everybody gets 1 minute 30 seconds, Shola, and your time was up. Our last call is Eze, so that we can give you details about this story on LASMA. He says LASMA officials are on the right path. Eze in Ijebode, welcome.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, you see, this issue of party and every other thing, I don't know. At times, people who did those party, they make us to be crazy at times because that they will block the road. And before, I don't know whether I don't want to accuse anybody. It is good as Lagos State government have discovered that is the problem in Lagos. That's number one. Then the fourth
mainland bridge, yes.
Yeah, that one is that was what they have done since before this regime even take over. Because I wonder what I suffered last week on that 10 mainland bridge. I feel sorry for myself because I had to look for water to drink, but I could not find it there. I feel sorry for myself. Yes, if that one, it will be a help for us.
All right, Eze, thanks for calling. Aghogho, you were laughing earlier when we talked about this LASMA matter. Yeah,
because I was laughing because I just imagine the nightmare scenario that will play out, especially with the idea of having LASMA for every some parts of Lagos.
Event. Do we even have enough LASMA officials? to begin with. I mean, there's an Saturday na Owambe day. You get so.
Yeah, so it's a case of a secondary solution for a primary problem. How on earth did they have those event centers set up in the first instance when the planning rule or rule of thumb says that before you set up those sort of places, they should have parking slots meant to match the number of guests they're supposed to have. So the first problem we're having here is that the so-called Owambes that happen, especially on Lagos Island, are happening in places that don't have parking slots, and in collaboration with the state authorities many times have allowed this to pass. So if you have the last mile officials there in the places, for example, that one, I know they've taken some drastic steps in certain areas, for example, that had event gardens and those sort of things, and completely revoked their land use, and so that they had to convert to the original site. But this doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't solve the problem of having inappropriate uses for events in those places. It also doesn't solve the problem of the traffic in the first instance. There are many parts of Lagos, because of the congestion, you don't have parking slots for the property.
And the event centers are multiplying.
And they multiply. There's certain times I've walked, if you drive around Apapa on Sundays, the religious centers, back on the expressway, and say this is an agreement they reached. And I say, what sort of agreement?
You reach with who?
With the state authority, with the state planning authority to park along the road, especially around Apapa, even in Yaba, they take an entire lane, because the church or, the centers don't have any parking space. So the first question that comes to my mind as a physical planner is, how on earth did this get approved in the first instance? Because there are certain rules and standards required. I mean, if it's for 4 vehicles, 5 vehicles, you must not exceed that. Otherwise, you pay the penalty. But appears that they're trying to find the last mile solution to the problem.
Aghogho, I MC a lot of events, and so weekends are like my moneymaker, days. All days are my moneymaker days, but weekends I'm making like more than I'm making. Anyway, you want me to MC your event? Send me an email, all right, or send me a message on social media. But as I was saying, right. Weekends, I'm always at one event or the other, emceeing for different organizations, or if it's a wedding or anything of the sort. And you get there, and there's no parking. All the space has been used for the hall itself, and no parking whatsoever. But it's like you said, where was the government when that was happening? Where was the government while they were building? And as the commissioner said, these laws are already in the books. So you're not saying anything new, Aghogho. The government must have say, we get laws where say you're not supposed to build for here. So imagine if government had been enforcing these laws all these years, there probably wouldn't be so many violations.
So what they're doing there is more of reactionary. I'm sure maybe listeners have better ideas.
And it's reactionary to all the complaints from Saturday. Saturday was bloody.
I know. So it's reactionary now. So reactionary in the sense that those event centers or religious centers don't have parking slots, congestion, competition for land use like on the Lagos Island. So what they're doing now is they're building multi-layer car parks. But this is after the fact, like they say in law. So it's reactionary. Will it take care of the several visitors and guests that come to an area? I'm not too sure because of the problem. So even if they take all the multi-layer car parking slots, eventually they have them set up in several parts of Lagos, they're still going to come back to those same access roads that have been turned to expressways, because everywhere wants to be a central business district now.
Were you caught up in Saturday's monstrous traffic? Call us and let us know. When did you get home? Who is more to blame for the lack of parking and the blockage of roads?
And if you do any O1 bed, you provide parking space
for your people. Is it the motorists who block the roads that are more to blame, or is it the event center and the place of worship that don't have enough parking space, or is it the government who doesn't enforce the laws? Give us a call 01277 0993 01277 1993 2993 3993. WhatsApp as well. If you cannot call us right now, send us a WhatsApp message very quickly. WhatsApp is 0809 5975 805 0809 5975 805. But again, the numbers to call are 01277 0993 01277 1993 01277 2993 and 01277 3993. Chooks in Egbeda, you've got 1 minute 30 seconds. Welcome.
Sandra, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Let me start from the entity. Sandra, I lost my phone. I want to retrieve my line with MTN. Let me even call your name. They told me that I can't retrieve my line. This is a line I bought about 2010. They said, I can't retrieve my land. I should not find the park. I said, why would I keep the park for 10 years? 90 years for what? They said, I can't retrieve it. That I can't do it, blah, blah, blah. I should go and swear with everything. A friend of mine told me that I should go to those roadside people, those people that do at the roadside, that they will collect money and do it for me. Sandra, though I'm told I went there. Those people say I should give them 2,000, that they will give me my SIM the next day. Sandra, I gave them 2,000, they gave me my SIM the next day.
They gave you a SIM card?
I swear, the next day.
Yeah.
That's when I go office say they no please do am. For roadside, collected 2,000 and leave it from me. They not even ask me, they not ask me passport, I mean whether I do fingerprint. They just said, which name you take to register and I tell them. They just snap use their phone, come me picture, say no worry, now they go tomorrow, come collect them.
But my concern for you is that that SIM may not be registered. You probably could get your SIM blocked maybe before the end of, that's...
I've been using this SIM since January.
Yeah, but I still think you should go register
Go
that
and
SIM,
register it,
so
Chooks.
to avoid
It is working, Sandra. They are not blocking anything. Don't mind them.
All right, thanks for calling me. That's 1 minute 30 seconds for you. But that worries me. I mean, there are
Yeah.
people who are cloning your SIM cards now.
Yes, that's what
That
I'm
worries
getting.
me. That really worries me
But
because
I
it feels
still
like that's a
think you
crime
should go
happening there.
register the SIM because you see that before you know what's happening, they cut you off. And then you start to say, had I known.
We've got Johnson in Aghogho wants to complain about the traffic. Johnson, my brother, welcome.
Good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
afternoon.
My name is Johnson from Ishefun, Aghogho.
Okay.
Please, I want to contribute to the program.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm a first-time caller.
Oh, good to have you on the show. Shake the thing for him, Aghogho. Shake the thing. Shake the thing.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Shaku Maku.
Please, I live at Ishefun, but I work at Lekki Phase 1. So I used to leave home every day by 3:30 a.m.
Hello.
Wow.
So now the problem of Saturday is too much. I spent 3 hours from Jakande to Lekki roundabout.
My brother.
But what I suggest, my suggestion is this: government always come out to say something and they did another thing. The Lagos government is not ready to do anything. If they're ready to do something, right from the bad beach side, there must be a drug carriageway down to Ogombo, past Ogombo, down to Lakowe, down to Abidjan.
Which was in the coastal road plan. Unfortunately, it did not happen.
That will take all over this problem along this Osumba and Badiwe Ajaro because that is the only road. If anything should happen to people at Ajala, Kowe, everything will finish. This 40-man bridge, I'm not interested. It's not going to solve any problem because from Lekki down to Aja is a problem for getting to the beach. Where is the road? They should improve on waterways. We have many waterways. If they have boat, from Ishefun here, there's a big river that will link to Marina, link to Aja. I will not even see road before I get to
your office.
Yes. So this problem is getting too much. Although I'm planning to leave Lagos, because Lagos is no more working. Thank you.
Thanks for calling me, Joseph. On actually, someone sent a text, so I guess you can do that as well. This person says, bridge is expensive. Just get Aghogho out of our roads. Ask private persons to put new coastal buses on all roads and make bus stop close to one another and return bus terminals back to local government. People will willingly park their car and take a bus. But with Aghogho, nothing will change. And that's a message from our day. Is this something you agree with, Aghogho? Daya is in Surulere. Hello, Daya.
Hello, Sandra.
You don't think we're considerate? What has consideration got to do with it?
Yes, thank you very much. You see, I will continue to say the people get the kind of leaders they deserve. You see, from little things like this, that is when you know why we are in this mess. As the people, you want to have an event, you don't think that the parking is important. That is why you will not be considerate to other road users. I give you an example. Years ago, there is a church on Lagos Ibadan. So I'm a member of that church, so nobody should come and attack me. Years ago, anytime there's an event on that church, from that church,
your heart starts to beat.
You can't pass Lagos Ibadan Express Road. But they have to take it serious. They set up a committee and a team that works on traffic every time there is an event. Even though there will be traffic, but it will be a moving one. Every little thing is important in the scheme of things, and everybody is important in the scheme of things. Even the man over and the last man that will help you to control traffic, they're important, because if they are not there, what we had on Lekki Express Road the other day is a child's play.
Thanks for calling, Dyer. The Federal High Court in Abuja has ordered the return of the Soko oil field from Bayelsa State to Rivers State. The order came as part of its judgment in a case brought by Rivers State against the National Boundary Commission, NBC. The High Court based its judgment on a 2012 judgment given by the Supreme Court, which affirmed that the Boundary Commission had made an error in the 11th edition of the administrative map published in 2002. Aghogho, today I miss Port Harcourt because there will be celebrations in Port Harcourt. Like major celebrations.
I don't know. And there will also be tears in another area, right?
Oh, well, that's your problem.
This just reminds me of the Cross River and Makwai Bom.
This sounds like a personal problem. As an honorary Port Harcourt girl, I don't care.
The question I have is, so what happened? This error, this costly error over how many years now? Mm-hmm. The proceeds that happened because of this oil process that had gone to one area over the other area. Will it be given back to the people in that area? Then what happens to the area which is going to definitely lose revenue from this? How are they going to be compensated? Because I know for a fact that when this happens, it does happen with consequences, like it happened in Cross River and River State, where all the oil was taken. To today, the Cross River economy continues to suffer for that ruling. Well, they become more smarter in how they raise the revenue, but I know what they probably would have been able to do if they still had those oil wells which were ceded to the Akwa Ibom state government following this sort of boundary map judgment.
And the thing I found interesting about this Soko oil saga is the timeline, right? The new administrative map was published in 2002. It showed the boundary between the two states in the wrong place. Because of the incorrect border, Soko was now in Bayelsa, right? The River State government wrote to the Boundary Commission to complain. The Boundary Commission replied and acknowledged the error. They said they would rectify it in the next publication. Fast forward 7 years to 2009, still no correction. So River State took the matter to court. 3 years later, that's 10 years after the error, Supreme Court said River State was right. But even after that judgment, Soko was not returned. Meanwhile, before this, the revenue from the oil field was being kept in escrow so that when the matter was resolved, it would be returned to the rightful state. But at some time between 2012 and 2015, the federal government gave Bayelsa the money. And from then until now, Bayelsa has been collecting the revenue from Soko. So like Aghogho said, what's going to happen to that money? Are you going to return it to River State? We watch and we wait. Coming up is Checkpoint at 4 o'clock. Let's talk about security during these holidays. I told you my phone was stolen at an event that I went to MC.
Yeah, and I promise you,
MC.
I promise you, all of you who try to call in, we'll give you plenty of time to call in. Because see everywhere blinking green. Sandra cost it,
We've got ads to play. People love Nigeria info, so they're all advertising here. So let's make sure that they get their money's worth, Don't go away. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili.
And I'm Aghogho Oboh.
This is Hard Facts.